Okay, the December 7th, 2016 meeting of the Thousand Oaks Council on Aging is now being called to order. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Francine, would you call the roll?
Please stay here present when I call your name. Commissioner Gett. Commissioner Gorbach is absent. Commissioner Heggie.
Here.
Vice Chair Healy.
Here.
Commissioner Maria.
Here.
Commissioner Mortimer.
Here.
Commissioner Norkin.
Here.
Chair Fotheringham.
Here.
And Commissioner Allen is absent. Thank you.
Okay, now is the time of a program for commissioner comments, or not commissioner comments, but public comments. If you'd like to make a public comment, please fill out one of these blue forms that are on the table in the back. I have one form so far from Brenda Birdwell. You're up.
Happy holidays, everybody. Hi, it's Brenda Birdwell. I'm here for Braille Institute. I want to make sure that everyone knows we have free services for low vision people all over Ventura County. We have a support group that meets at the Global Active Adult Community Center every Friday, well, beginning in January again, every Friday at 10 o'clock. It's a great group. My number is 805-886-6025, and information about all of our programs is on the website, which is www.brailleinstitute.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. We have two commissioner reports today. The first one from Commissioner Gett. You're up.
Thank you, Chair Frothingham. Today, I want to talk a little bit about rainstorm preparedness. Next slide, please. We had our first rainstorm of the year on November 21st, and it wasn't all it was predicted to be, but it did drop half an inch or so of rain. And while we survived El Nino last year, the November 21 storm served as a wake-up reminder that we can get a lot of water in a short period of time. So the question I ask all of you is, are you prepared? Next slide, please. The key areas of concern outside your home are, first of all, your roofs. Do you know you have roof leaks? Do you have water stains on your ceiling? If you do, I'm sure you have roof leaks. Is your roof clear of debris? Do you have pine needles, leaves, and other debris on your roof? And your gutters, have you cleared the leaves and pine needles and dirt and other debris from your gutters? I found some nice plants growing in mine. Next slide, please. One of the things that I found for gutters is you can buy very inexpensive gutter screens that just snap in on top of your gutters, and they keep all that junk out of your gutters. And they're only $1 a piece at Home Depot for 3 feet. So you could do your whole house probably for $30. And they're really easy to put in, or you could, of course, hire somebody to put them in. But they really keep all the pine needles and leaves and stuff out. Because if your drains clog up, the chances are that the water will get up underneath your roof shingles, and then it's got a clear entry into your house if you have any separations there. So you might want to think about that. Next slide, please. Are your deck drains outside your home clear? If you have deck drains around the cement parts of your walkways and things, do they drain freely? Most plumbers will come out and clear your drains for about $79, but you don't need to wait to call a plumber until it's raining and the drains are clogged and they're overflowing. You need to do it now because you're going to have a tough time getting plumbers in the middle of a rainstorm. Next slide, please. Do you live on a hillside that was recently burned? Do you remember the Camarillo Springs fire in 2013? Well, guess what happened in 2014 when we had the first big rainstorm? That's a pretty devastating picture. So you need to think about that. Next slide. You can prevent mudslides or minimize the damage by placing plastic sheet over bare hills, slide areas. You can get sandbags to divert mud and water flow. And the Ventura County fire stations all have free sandbags and sand available. If your hill is on city property, you should contact them and discuss the options, because they will most likely help you prepare for that if you live on a hillside that's been denuded or bare. Next slide, please. Do you have large trees next to your house? Do you have heavy branches overhanging your house from those trees? Have the trees been weakened by the drought? A lot have. I ride my bike a lot, and I just see all these tree limbs breaking off in Hidden Valley and other places. And those things are heavy, let me tell you, especially if they're oak trees. You need to trim those heavy branches overhanging your house now. If you have an oak tree or a landmark tree, you require a permit from the city. Other trees can be trimmed as needed. But again, you don't want something that weighs 1,000 pounds crashing down on your roof in the next big storm. Next slide, please. How about your car? When was the last time you changed your windshield wipers? If they're over 3 years old, you probably need to replace them, maybe sooner on some of the windshield wipers, and it depends on how much you're in the desert and so forth. But I'm sure we've all been exposed to trying to go down the freeway and the windshield wiper blades are streaking and you can't see. So you need to take care of that now. And the same with your tires. If the tire treads are worn, they won't have much traction when the rains start, especially the first rains, because the oil and grease and everything on the freeways will just make it really slick. So you want to look at your tire tread and replace the tires if they're worn down. Next slide. Do you have a plan in case of flooding? Do you know how to contact your loved ones? Do you have an agreed cell phone number to call? As a backup, do you have an agreed landline number to call if one's available? Have you agreed on places to meet? Do you have basic emergency supplies at home and in your car? Are your key documents all stored up in the attic or off-site so that if there's flooding on the first floor, they won't get ruined? Next slide, please. You should have 1 gallon per day per person of water for at least 3 days stored away. You should have 3 days of non-perishable food, a battery-powered radio, flashlights, preferably the LED type because the batteries last longer, first aid kit with instructions, essential prescription medications, and probably a couple $100 in case you need to run out and get something on an emergency basis. Also would be good to have pliers or a wrench to turn off utilities like the gas running into your house if there's a breakage there or a leak. Blankets or sleeping bags, pet supplies if applicable, complete change of clothing, long sleeve shirt, long pants, sturdy shoes, chlorine bleach and an eyedropper if you have to purify water, and a paper and pencil or pen. Next slide. So be prepared for the rain, stay dry, and stay safe. Back to you, Nick.
All right. Our second commissioner report is from Commissioner Maria.
Thank you, Chair Frothingham. I will be brief because I know we have a packed agenda, but our speaker today is going to be talking about fraud, and it got me thinking about in some severe cases, people may need some legal advice. So I just wanted to look into what some of the opportunities were to get some legal services, and I was actually surprised that in addition to medical services, the Conejo Free Clinic does offer legal services as well. They offer legal clinics on the first 4 Tuesdays of every month, and they're on varying topics, and it's on a first-come, first-served basis. And if we go to the next slide, you'll see the schedule. So the first Tuesday of the month, they cover general and criminal law and family law. The second Tuesday, they're available for consultations on wills, trusts, or estate and family law. On the third Tuesday, they're available for general law and personal injury, bankruptcy, family law. The fourth Tuesday is immigration law and family law. So they cover a myriad of topics. They're there for free advice. Again, it's first come, first serve, and we all hope that we never need them for anything serious, but for wills and estate planning, it might be a resource that people need to take advantage of. So their contact information is conejofreeclinic.org. The phone number is 805-497-3575, and they're located in Thousand Oaks on Hillcrest Drive.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Maria. I'd like to turn the floor over now to Vice Chair Healy to introduce our liaison reports.
Council on Aging has liaisons to the different groups that we work with and that work with seniors in the area. So I am going to present the three of them that we're going to have today. The first one is from the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging, or VC-AAA, and Chair Fotheringham will be doing that report.
All right. One of the programs that's managed by the VC-AAA is called Home Share, and many of you may have heard this already. The goal here is to help particularly seniors who may need housing or have more housing than they need and can offer some housing to someone else. People in need of housing are often students or elderly people trying to survive on Social Security. And there are many seniors who have a large house that was appropriate for them when their children were living with them or their spouse was still alive, but now it's gotten to be more of a burden. They have more space than they need, and so the program attempts to match these people together, and they currently have completed 65 matches in the county and so forth. They have a list of people looking for housing that exceeds the available housing. So if you're in a house now and you'd like to rent out a room, please contact them. The arrangements between the person seeking a place to live and the people with an extra room is very individual and so forth, and it may involve payment of monthly rent, or it may involve doing some chores and so forth in lieu of rent, or it may involve some combination of that. The program is quite conservative, quite careful in terms of matching people to try to make sure they get along with one another and so forth before they move in together and discover that they really don't like each other. And so there are a whole series of, phone contacts between the people, and then an in-person contact and so forth to see if they get along and have a chance to get to know each other a little bit before move-in day. And as a result, these arrangements, the 65 arrangements that they've made, have been have sort of not failed. And that's what we would hope of all of them. So again, if you're in need of housing, and particularly if you have a 4-bedroom house and just one of you there, and the addition for having somebody fill up your space and maybe pay you a little rent, many people seek companionship. They want somebody to talk to in the evenings and so forth, other than just a television. And so get a hold of the Council on Aging on their website and so forth if you have a need for this or an interest in it and want to know more. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. Our next report will be done by Rick Tanaka, who is the director of our wonderful Conejo Senior Volunteer Program, CSVP, if you like initials. This is a great program. If any of you are looking for something to do, Rick will be able to find you the perfect volunteer job, and there are lots of opportunities, so I would suggest calling him. Rick, take it from here.
Thank you, Commissioner Healy. Well, I want to point out that coming right around the corner is 2017. And of course, with that, something we all look forward to is paying our taxes. Now, thankfully, we have a team of volunteers that are ready to help you with a free tax preparation service. This service has been taking place for quite a few years, and this year it will be beginning on January 30th. The service will take place 8:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. On Mondays through Thursdays at the Conejo Creek South Community Room, which is across the street from the Global Center, and on Wednesdays at the Newbury Park Library. This free service will be available on a first-come, first-served basis to people 60 years of age or older, or people with an income of $53,000 or less, regardless of age. This team of volunteers is IRS trained and certified, and last year they completed over 1,700 returns, so they are prepared to help you this time around. Another thing I want to point out is HICAP counseling. HICAP appointments at the Global Center are now being taken for 2017. The counselors provide free and objective information and counseling about Medicare. Volunteer counselors can help you understand your specific rights and health care options. Appointments will be for the first and third Mondays each month beginning January 16th and the second and fourth Wednesdays beginning January 11th. Please call the CSVP office to make an appointment. That number is 805-381-2742. Now, another thing I'm really excited to point out is the 2017 Wellness Fest will again be taking place at the Goebel Center in January. It will be Wednesday, January 18th to be exact. Now, this free event is this year sponsored by Atria Senior Living, Los Robles Hospital, and Home Helpers, and it will include games, activities, free health screenings, and entertainment. Advance ticket holders will also receive a free lunch. A limited number of free tickets will be available at the Goebel Center beginning January 2nd. Have to tell you, this is a really fun event for those of you who have not been there in years past. You're welcome to go to the CSVP website and see the video of last year's event. You can see it's a lot of fun. For more information on these programs or to find out more about how you can start volunteering, please contact the CSVP office by visiting the Goebel Center or by calling 805-381-2742. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rick. Am I going to understand by your staying up there that you're going to also do our report on the Goebel Adult Community Center and all the stuff that's going on there?
It would be a pleasure, Commissioner Healy. Thank you for inviting me. I will take you up on that offer.
We'd like to have you for all of them, so thank you very much.
Well, my office just happens to be at the Goebel Center, so I know a little bit about what's taking place over there. So I will be speaking on behalf of the Recreation Supervisor, Patty Ham, today. And some of the things that are coming up this Friday, December 9th, 7 to 9 a.m., the Rotary Club of Westlake Village Sunrise will be providing a holiday breakfast. Admission is free and seating is limited. Call 805-381-2744 to register or sign up at the front desk. Also, on Friday, December 16th, from 12:30 to 1:30, we will be celebrating the holidays by sharing our favorite cookie recipes. Participants are asked to bring in 24 homemade cookies to share with your cookie recipe. There will be a cookie tasting contest, and all participants will take home cookies for the holidays. This event is free for seniors 50 plus. Only 24 spaces available. You're going to want to call 805-381-2744 to register, or you can sign up at the front desk. I'm going to sign up to be a judge for that. I don't know. I'm going to find out about that. On Sunday, December 18th, from 2 to 3 p.m., Holocaust survivor, author, and speaker James Bachner will share his experience of being a German Jew during the darkest days of the Third Reich. Bachner's book, My Darkest Years, is a memoir of a survivor of Auschwitz, Warsaw, and Dachau. Admission is free. Call 805-381-2744 to register, or again, you can sign up at the front desk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rick. You can visit us anytime. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you.
All right, now is a point in our program where we look for commissioner comments. Are there any of the commissioners that have a comment today? Yes, Ron.
Well, I'd like to invite everybody in our audience and our TV audience to think about having someone from Council on Aging, probably me, come out and talk to your group about what it is the Council on Aging does, what we're about, what we do. And as an added feature, I always bring along a partner who can explain the latest developments in our Village to Village, which is now going full blast in Thousand Oaks and the surrounding area. And so you can get information also on the Village to Village. So give us a call at Council on Aging, and Francine can set you up with an appointment, and we'd be happy to come out and visit your group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Harry?
Yes, I just want to mention that today is the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and I hope everybody will remember that day that, as President Roosevelt said, will live in infamy. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Healy?
Just in line with what Harry just said, this week I went to a hearing on veterans housing in Simi Valley and at their city council. And just remember that there are a lot of veterans back, still Korea, Vietnam, and they told stories about how they got to where they are. If you have veterans in your life or in your community, be aware of what they did contribute to our country, and if there's ways to kind of make sure they get the help that they should, please do so. They told us statistics about Vietnam vets, and and I would be that era, that it's still very common for them to take their own lives if they don't have enough. So do what you can to help the veterans in your life or in your community. It's really important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Is there another comment? Yes, Commissioner Gitt.
So along the lines of the Caneo Valley Village, which Ron mentioned, yes, we are taking applications for both membership and volunteers. And the mission, if you haven't heard about the Caneo Valley Village, is to help seniors to stay in their homes for as long as possible and remain socially connected to our community. If you want information on the Caneo Valley Village, you can get it on the web at caneovalleyvillage.org. Caneo Valley Village is all one word. We're going to launch on April 1st. We have a fundraiser at the California Pizza Kitchen at the Lakes on January 17th, Tuesday. So we hope you'll come out and enjoy some good food at the California Pizza Kitchen, and we get a percentage of that to help us offset the expenses on the village. So again, the information is available at caneovalleyvillage.org. And if you're interested at all, let us know, and we'll come and talk to you about it. Thank you, Nick.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Are there other comments? Seeing none, we'll move on, and I'll turn the floor over to Commissioner Mortimer to introduce our guest speaker for today.
Thank you, Nick. Our guest speaker today is Detective Tim Lohman from the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. Detective Lohman has 22 years of law enforcement experience, first as a patrol officer, school resource officer, DARE instructor, background investigator, community resource officer, and now detective in the Financial Crimes Unit. His goal is to educate the public about the dangers of identity theft and scams and ways the public can protect themselves so they do not become the next victim. Let's welcome Detective Lohman.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Council on Aging, for having me today for this most important topic. As you stated, I am a detective in financial crimes. Financial crimes includes elder financial abuse, check fraud, credit card fraud, scams, and many others, to name a few. The reason why this topic is so important right now is because we're seeing a lot of them. My caseload has exploded recently with scams and the amount of people that are falling for them. I truly believe that the best way to combat that is to educate the public, and by having me here today, I'm hoping to do that so that you don't become a victim. Each and every one of you worked very difficult for the money that you have in your life savings, and it could be gone at the snap of a finger, and there is no way to recover it. So today, let's talk about scams, frauds, fakes, and fakes. A scam is a trick and an attempt to take your money. They gain your trust, and once they gain your trust, they will end up working at a way to take everything that you have worked hard for. So when we look at this next slide, we're looking at what is a scammer and who is a scammer. If you look at the photo, you'll look at somebody on your left, the man with the tie, or the man on the right with the dog. Which one would you say is a scammer? Most of you may say both of them. But if you look at the man on the left, if you can identify who he is, that is Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff took billions of dollars from unsuspecting victims who trusted this man to invest their money. Life savings gone, money that these people will never get back. Keep in mind, whether a scammer is somebody that sits on a corner and asks for donations or somebody that wears a tie, they come from many different backgrounds. They can be of any race. They can be male, female, young or old. It doesn't matter. But when we look at it, when we hear the word scammer, sometimes we may relate to just the man with the dog on the corner. Again, keep in mind, it can be anybody. So these are questions that I want you to ask yourself so that you, these are questions that you're going to want to ask yourself so that you don't become scammed. Number one, have you been contacted by telephone, email, or text message by somebody you do not know? Have you been told that you owe an overdue IRS payment, won a sweepstakes, or have an unpaid debt or bill? Are you buying an item for on sale, or online, with a too good to be true price? Or selling an item that is paid for a check that is written for more than what you're asking for your item? Have you been hired to work at home or other job without a face-to-face interview with the person who is hiring you? Are you being told to stuff envelopes with checks you have received in the mail, or being asked to wire money with a check that you received? Are you being asked, and this is the big one, are you being asked to purchase prepaid credit cards, iTunes cards, vanilla cards, Green Dot cards, or something similar? Now remember, these cards go by many different names, but if they're asking you to get a prepaid card, that is a red flag and something that I want you to put in the back of your mind if somebody's asking you to do so. Now, when we look at gift cards, we've seen them everywhere. You can walk into the supermarket. When you can't figure out what to get somebody for the holidays, you buy them a gift card, right? It makes it easy. You find the location that they like to visit, and you get them a gift card. But something that you don't know is that when you put money on these gift cards, it's very easy to take the money off the gift cards. For example, if you look at the cards right there, like the iTunes card, on the back of the iTunes card has several numbers on it. Those numbers are actually under a silver lining, like a lottery ticket when you scratch it. Once you give those numbers to a suspect over the phone, they have now taken all of the money off of that card. And these people can be from anywhere. So if, again, they're telling you to get a prepaid gift card and then to read the numbers off the card, that is a red flag. Do not do it, because you may be a victim of a scam. So now remember, these scams stop with you. You can stop these people from taking your money, your life savings. And it's very simple. You say no, you hang up the phone, and you contact law enforcement. So here are some of the most common scams that we are seeing locally. For example, the IRS scam. How many of you have heard of the IRS scam? Yeah. As a matter of fact, 600 people got arrested in India for this scam, and 60 here in the United States. As a matter of fact, the IRS scam has started to drop off a little bit until somebody else starts doing the same exact thing. Here's an example of what an IRS scam might look like or sound like.
Miss Lee, this is Agent Williams from the tax office. Our records show an unpaid balance on your account. If you don't pay by end of day, you'll be facing jail time. Well, the fastest way to fix this is with a prepaid debit card. Can you go get one now? Yes, and we want to clear this up. If you just buy that prepaid card, put $400 on it, then call me back and read the numbers to me.
The moment they ask for a prepaid card, and you heard what he said, read the numbers to me. That is how he's taking your money. Okay. You noticed how the picture was flipping back and forth? He looked like he was in an office, then he looked like he was in a rundown warehouse. That's exactly what they're at. They're not in a nice office in the IRS building down in Camarillo. So this is what I want you to do. If you receive a call like that, you need to note the number that's showing up on your caller ID if you have so. Okay. The IRS agents, what they'll do is they'll threaten to arrest you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm local law enforcement. I do not arrest for federal crimes. I'm not going to come out to your house and say, by the way, you didn't pay your taxes. I'm here to arrest you. Okay? The IRS also does not correspond by phone. They correspond by letter. But keep in mind, because they do correspond by letter, people can send fraudulent letters as well. So we need to keep that in mind. Having the IRS office here in the city of Camarillo, it's easy for us to verify whether we do owe money to the IRS. Do me a favor. Please do not send the money first and then question and research. The whole goal of this educational process is to research before you send anything. The IRS phone number here is on the screen. It's 800-829-1040, 1040. Call them directly. Here's a tip. Do not call the phone number that they leave for you, because that can be a scammer's phone number. There are so many devices out there where I can make my phone number look like a local phone number. You can get phone numbers through the internet. I can sit behind a computer and I can call your personal phone. And I can spoof. We call them spoofing phone numbers, especially an 805 area code. You might believe it's the IRS office in Camarillo because Ventura County has an 805 area code, but it's not. So I strongly encourage you not to return the phone number that they leave for you. Here's an example of a phone call that somebody received supposedly from the IRS.
This is Officer from Internal Revenue Services. We have been trying to reach you. This call is an official final notice call from IRS. The reason of the call is to inform you that IRS has filed a lawsuit against you. To know more information, call immediately our IRS department number 36023258442.
Okay, so that is the number they're leaving for you. Again, we've already talked about the fact that the IRS will not call you on the phone. But I did take that phone number later in this slideshow. I'm going to show you how you can research the phone number that called you, and you can find out yourself whether it's a scam or not. Our next scam is the kidnap ransom scam. What they do is they call you on the phone and say somebody in your family has been kidnapped. It could be your own child. It could be your grandchild. It could be a nephew of yours. These incoming calls come from outside area codes, which brings me to the next point. We were talking about area codes before, and we said that the County of Ventura has an 805 area code. Is it possible for me to live in a different state or a different country with the 805 area code? It is. Correct. You are very correct. So that's why I say don't believe the number that always comes up, because they may not be calling from your area code. On this ransom scam, they kidnap or they threaten to kidnap or harm a family member. They may even have somebody scream in the background to make it seem real. Once they do that, they're going to request that a ransom be paid. As with all scams, they're asking you to either wire money or get a reloadable gift card or a reloadable Visa card, put money on it, and read them the numbers on the back, and they will release your family member. Now, keep in mind, some of you might be thinking, well, how are they finding out who my family members are? Remember, social media is out there. Anything that you post on websites like Facebook, social media like Facebook, or any other ones that are out there, when you're listing your family members' names, the scammer can get those names. Not only that, when you get home this evening, what I want you to do is take your name and put it in a search engine and see how much information comes out about you. Believe it or not, I can find out where you live, I can find out who your family members are, and I can find out phone numbers you have just from the internet. So the internet can be a blessing, but it also can be a curse at the same time. Remember with the kidnap scam, we're not sending any money to anybody. What I want you to do is I want you to call and verify whether that person has been kidnapped. Call their parent, okay, to make sure that this is not the case. They may try to keep you on the phone. Simply hang up the phone, call your relative, and then call law enforcement. But do not send any money. The jury duty scam, we're still seeing this one. We have a civic duty to attend jury duty, correct? So we received that notice in the mail that says you have been selected to go to jury duty. And if you don't show up, we're going to arrest you. I will tell you, in the 22 years in law enforcement, I have never knocked on somebody's door and said, let's go to jail because you failed to show up for jury duty. Now, that doesn't mean that if you fail to show up and they send you a letter that you put on there that Detective Lohman told me that I did not need to show up at jury duty, because that's not what I'm telling you. Okay, but what I am telling you is that what they will do is they will use a department member's name. Now, how hard is it for me to find out who works for the Ventura County Sheriff's Office? Is it easy? Absolutely. What I do, we already talked about the internet, right? Blessing and curse at the same time. I go on to the Ventura County Sheriff's Office website and I find out who works for the Sheriff's Office. Oh, hey, look at that. Sheriff Dean is the Sheriff of Ventura County. So because you might know Sheriff Dean, I might pretend like I'm Sheriff Dean calling you and saying that we're going to come out and arrest you if you don't pay a fine because you failed to show up at jury duty. So, again, with the same situation, they're going to ask for a prepaid gift card or they're going to ask you to wire money. Here's my suggestion that you call the courthouse immediately to see if you have missed jury duty. Again, do not call the phone number back that they have given you. You need to call the courthouse where they say that you missed jury duty. Now, keep in mind, they may have somebody sitting there next to the scammer, somebody that they may say is a judge, or somebody they may say is a lawyer. And what they'll do is they'll give the phone to somebody else with a different voice, and they'll make you believe that you're actually corresponding with somebody from the courthouse. So be real careful. Again, do not send money. Grandparent scam, we are seeing this way too much. How does this scam work? This scam works simply, and I'm going to show you the video in just a moment. But what happens is that they will call you on the phone and say, hello, Grandma? And you may say, hey, Johnny, is this you? What have you just done? You've given them your grandson's name. Okay, so not only can they get it from social media, but you may give it to them on accident, not thinking about it because you think it's your grandson. Let's take a look at the next video.
Hi. I'm your grandson's college roommate. We're in spring break together in Jamaica, and he's been in a bad accident. His jaw is wired shut. He needs money for surgery. He told me to ask you for it.
You wouldn't fall for it here.
No.
So don't fall for it here. Think before you send money.
Remember, think before you send money. Now, this is the part of the presentation where I like to tell you to just go ahead and open your wallets and get your credit cards out and read me the numbers on the front. Will you guys do that for me real quick? Yeah, y'all laugh, right? You're not going to do it. You're not going to take out your credit card. You're not going to read me your numbers. But the sad reality of it is people will do that over the phone. They will give people their information, especially information that will attack our financial well-being. You would be surprised on how many people that I could call on the phone and say, hey, this is Detective, even though I do work for the sheriff's office, but let's just say I didn't. And I said, this is Detective so-and-so with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. I'm calling you because I got a case and I want to get some information from you. And I start asking you all these personal questions. Do you know how many people actually still answer those questions? Do not be afraid to start questioning the person that you're talking to. Hey, can you give me the number to your dispatch center? I'd like to verify that you're an officer with the department. It's okay. We're not going to get angry if you tell us you want to do a little research. And as a matter of fact, I would rather you do that than put money out there and lose it. Okay? So the grandparent scam is, again, calling a family member calling. They need money immediately. They don't want you to tell anybody. Okay? They don't want you to let anybody know. Okay? They say that they may have been in an accident. They've been in jail. I've heard both of them. Again, they use the same scenario as the jury duty scam, where they actually have somebody there saying, this is Judge Clark. He's right next to me. He's going to get on the phone. He's going to tell you what needs to happen, and we're going to go ahead and release him. That's not the way it works in law enforcement. The judge doesn't get on the phone with you and say, just go ahead and set a prepaid card and we're going to set them free. Okay? We're not at that stage. Okay, so that's why that's a clue right there. But these scammers are really good. They can sell you a pair of shoes you don't even need. So that's why we got to be real careful. Start doing your checks and balances. And again, when you're in doubt, and this is how you can really save yourself on this type of scam, pick up the phone and call your relative. It's that simple. Because what ends up happening is I have people that send the money first, and then they call their relative. And the relative goes, no, I'm sitting right here playing Xbox on the couch. You know, they're playing video games or whatever. And by that time, the money's gone. I'm in law enforcement. I'm not a superhero. Okay, so no matter how many times people say, well, can't you get my money back? Can't you get my money back? No. My success rate of getting people money back right now is probably 10 to 15%. That's not a lot, because we're talking thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars that people are sending to scammers. Classified site scams. Let's take a look at that for a second, because a lot of us have gotten to the point where we depend on shopping online, right? We do our shopping. I'll be honest with you. At Christmas time, the last thing I want to do is look for a parking spot, okay, and then go into a crowded mall, when I would rather sit in my pajamas at home and look for stuff for sale. But we have to be real careful, especially with Craigslist. Craigslist is a free site where you can post stuff for sale. But if it's free for you to post stuff, it's free for these criminals to get on there and start taking people's money. For example, you post something on this website, okay, and something for sale. That's one way that they try to get you, because what they'll do is you may be selling something for $500. They say, okay, well, I'm going to give you $1,000 and I'm going to send you a check. That's a clue. Hey, look, I would like to get free money too, but it just doesn't happen that easy, all right? So with the internet purchase, though, we also got to remember this, is I had a victim who wanted to buy a travel trailer. The travel trailer was $15,000 and was in another state. So he negotiates a price and he goes and sends $15,000. Lo and behold, he never got the travel trailer. So here's my advice with these types of things that you want to buy on the internet. Make sure you look at it first. If you can't look at it and you can't, and I'm not talking just the picture, I'm talking about looking at it where you can touch it, you can see it, you can go through it. If it's in Wisconsin, fly to Wisconsin and take a look at it. Don't just send money sight unseen, meaning touching it, going through it. That is a big way to save yourself from becoming a victim, because these people know that you're not going to fly out to Wisconsin to look at this travel trailer I have for sale. You're going to trust me. And people have fallen for that. They trust people, okay? But how can we avoid this? Is the gentleman came to me and he goes, hey, Tim, what do I do? How do I protect myself? I said, this is what I want you to do. How did he correspond with you? Oh, he corresponded by email. I said, great. Does he have a phone number attached to that ad? Yes, he does. Well, let's do this. Let's take a look through a search engine like Google. And he put in the email address. And what did it happen? It came up scam, 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 Craigslist, eBay. Every website that sells stuff had his email attached to it. And there were warnings, do not send money, do not send money. The other thing is I said, okay, we'll plug in the phone number now. Same thing, the phone number, scam, scam, scam. So now, this is that important part where I was telling you, research that phone number, research that email address, because in this case, that man would have saved $15,000. Unfortunately, it's gone to a scammer in the wrong hands. Let's take a look at what an internet purchase looks like here.
So you're looking online now? Yeah, great condition. Oh, I hate to see her go, but I really just need the cash. Well, the price is still just $1,000, but you have to send the money now, right now. Well, that's why the price is so low. Like I said, I need cash fast. I can't wait on a check or money order. You have to send cash now.
The moment they ask for immediate cash is the moment you know something's wrong.
The minute they ask for immediate cash, you know something's wrong. How many of us are impulse buyers, right? Something's on sale, and we want to get it, and we want to get it now. Like somebody, you go to a car lot, and you got the salesman there saying, well, the sale's only good until, the next hour. If you don't make a decision in the next hour, you're going to lose out on that deal. What are they trying to do? They're trying to get you to buy right then and there. Same thing with this. The gentleman, if you notice, it flashed back and forth. Did he have a motorcycle or didn't he have a motorcycle? You'll notice that he didn't have a motorcycle for sale. Like the man with the travel trailer that was for sale, he didn't have a travel trailer. As a matter of fact, he stole the picture from another internet website and used it and posted it and started corresponding with these people. Okay? So keep in mind that you have to really do your research. The over advance fee, I touched on it a little bit. Now, some of you may have seen these envelopes right here. Where can we get these envelopes? They're priority envelopes. They come from the where? The post office, right? Are they free? Yes, they are. We can walk in there and we can get a handful of those, okay? And then what ends up happening is people will take them home. And then on our next, during our presentation, I'm going to talk about work at home scams. But in those envelopes, if you receive one of those with a check in it for something that you might be selling, okay, or a job that somebody offered you, keep in mind that that check is stolen. Now, how hard is it for me to clean out your accounts? Your checking account, your savings account, how hard is it? Very easy, ladies and gentlemen, very easy. You know why? All I need is your check. If I have your check, I can clean out your account. I only need two things on your check. And what are those? Account number and routing number, right? The routing number says what bank that you belong to. The account number is where you keep all your money. So can I go down to Office Depot and use a routing number and use your routing number and your check account number? Yes, I can. I can print them out. These printers nowadays are really good. So I can take your routing number and account number and put it on a check, and I can write XYZ Corporation at the top. And I can go and negotiate that check and take money out of your account. So a lot of you are thinking, well, hey, wait a minute. Doesn't the bank check these checks to see whose name's on them? No, they don't. Remember, everything's automated. So remember, with the account number and the routing number is all they need to take money out of your account. Nobody sits there and says, oh, this is XYZ Corporation. This isn't John Smith's account. They don't do that. That's your responsibility. Okay? So when you check your statements, you should do it on a daily basis. That includes not only your checking and savings account statements, but it also includes your credit card statements. Because the minute you notice fraud, you need to notify the bank immediately. I had a case where it went 3 months and somebody didn't even realize that money was taken out of their account. And the fraud investigators are saying, hey, listen, it's too long. We're not going to reimburse you. So the faster that you report this fraud, the sooner you may get your money back, if anything at all. So these checks that come in are stolen from other people throughout the United States. They send it to you saying, okay, I'm going to give you $1,000 for that $500 table that you're selling. Go ahead and just deposit the check into your account. So you go ahead and deposit the check in the account, right? And then he says, well, now I need you to hold a little money for yourself, and then I want you to wire some of that money somewhere else. So you wire that money somewhere else, right? Then all of a sudden the bank calls you and says, hey, by the way, the check that you deposited was reported stolen, and we need to debit your account the amount of money that was put in there. So who's responsible for that $1,000 that you originally put in there? You are. You are. So that's why you got to be careful when you receive checks from somebody, especially in an envelope like this. What's interesting about this envelope is that there's a tracking number on it, okay? The city of Thousand Oaks here was receiving a bunch of these envelopes because what was happening is they put a return address of City Hall. So when I started to investigate the case, I found out that these envelopes were actually being sent from Missouri to unsuspecting victims with the return address of City Hall. So these cases are like spider webs, and they go on and on and on. So my point with this is if you are selling something online, check the tracking number on the envelope, see where it came from. If they say, hey, I live in Wisconsin and I want to buy your table, but the envelope came from Hawaii, there's a problem there. Okay, there's a problem. So check into that. Let's go on to this one. Now, this is a huge one right now. Finding love in all the wrong places. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you that online dating is one thing, okay? But you got to be careful. Are there successful relationships from online dating? Sure, through Match.com or eHarmony. There's so many different ones out there. But we got to be careful because what happens is people will fall in love with a photograph and words. They may be saying, hi, my name's Tabitha. I like long walks on the beach at sunset. I'm a Libra, etc., etc., etc. But the problem is that these people will never, they don't meet them. They just see them online, okay? They fall for them. And what ends up happening is these people that they met online are now asking them for money. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't be sending money to somebody I've never met. But it happens, unfortunately. And I have, just this morning, I was dealing with a bunch of these cases where people actually believed they had met the love of their life online. And I said, well, did you ever meet them? No. Did you ever talk to them over the phone? No. How'd you correspond with them? Email and text message. And I'm dealing with a victim who is out right now, $60,000. $60,000 that I will never get back, and $60,000 on a man that she's never even met. So we need to be careful. Here's an example of a romance scam.
John, it's me, Elizabeth. I know we've only talked online, but I think I'm falling in love. I have to meet you in person. I need money, though, to get there from here. 300 should do it.
You wouldn't fall for it here, so don't fall for it here. Think before you send money.
Okay, remember, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know whether they're male or female or who we're talking to because it's a photograph. Could that photo have been stolen from somebody else's profile? Yes. Go to Google Images and just type in, buff guy or something like that. You're going to see all these pictures of a bunch of different men or females or whatever the case is. And I can take that picture by 2 simply clicks of the keyboard, copy, cut, paste, or cut and paste, and I can put it on a profile, and I can make up all of this fraudulent stuff and make you believe that this is who you're actually talking to. So the video shows you that you don't know who you're talking to. Okay? It could be a male, it could be a female. And again, you wouldn't do that if I walked up to you here in the room. You wouldn't give me money like that. Okay? But people are doing it online because they actually believe what they're reading. So, how do we avoid falling for a scam like this or verifying whether a profile picture is legit? There are 2 websites out there. Actually, there's probably more than that, but I'm going to give you 2. There's tineye.com and then there's Google Image. What you do is you take that image of that person and you upload it. And what will happen is it searches all of these databases to see how many times that profile picture has been used. You might even find out where the profile picture came from, and it could be a GQ magazine, okay? So those are just ways that you can verify whether a photo is legit or not. These romance scams, we got to look at these because when they contact us via email or they contact us via text message, what you'll notice is that there's a lot of grammar errors in them. They are not English majors, okay? They have a lot of spelling errors. That should be a clue that this is probably not somebody local or somebody that I want to meet at this point. We have, in this case, and we started tracking these back probably to 2012, and we're talking $1.2 billion or more has been taken from people, innocent, suspecting parties who actually believed, again, that they met the love of their life. Work at home scams. Now, I hit on this a little bit, job scams. This one we're seeing a lot of as well. Why? Because you might see those ads that says, hey, you can make $1,000 a day working from home. Now, if I can make $1,000 a day working from home, I will quit my job tomorrow, okay? And I could sit at home and work in my pajama bottoms, and I can make money. Great. But what ends up happening is how many times has people been looking for jobs, or it might have happened to some of you in this room. You post a resume on websites like Monster.com or Indeed.com. Those are all websites that accept resumes. And what happens is you get contacted by somebody saying, hey, I want to hire you to work from home. You're going to package warehouse. You're going to be a warehouse packer from home. So what's going to happen is we're going to send a bunch of boxes to your house. And what we want you to do is we want you to take a photograph of it, and we're going to send you some shipping labels. You're going to just close up the boxes, put the shipping label on, and send it off. What they don't tell you is that those are stolen goods. All of the products that are being shipped to your home are stolen goods. As a matter of fact, I had a case like that. A Secret Service member's credit card was compromised. A computer was purchased with his credit card and was sent to a local home here in Thousand Oaks. I went to the home, knocked on the door to talk to the person. The person says, yeah, I had a computer sent to my house. I go, really? I go, so where's the computer? He goes, well, I shipped it off. I go, okay, why? And he goes, because it's my job. And I go, well, sir, it's not a job, it's criminal activity. And he started to get mad at me for a second there. And I said, sir, no, what you're doing is you're helping the criminal enterprise by having these stolen goods come through your home. So we talked a little bit more, and he finally understood what I was saying, but then he says, well, on your way out, can you grab the rest of the packages on my kitchen table? Because he didn't realize what he was doing is he was helping this criminal enterprise. Remember, look at a pyramid. You got your criminal on the top, and what he does is he hires all these unsuspecting people to move stolen goods or move stolen money or launder money. Okay, so you are one of those people. So we refer to them as money mules or merchandise mules because they have no idea that they are helping the criminal enterprise. So keep in mind that people that are doing this, it is an illegal practice, and yes, they can be criminally prosecuted for that. Okay, so we have to be real careful when you accept a job. Please make sure it's legit. And how many times have we been hired over the internet or the telephone? Normally, don't we have a face-to-face interview where we bring in our resume and they shake our hand? A lot of people seem to think, well, hey, it's the technology age. They don't need to interview me. They'll do it all over the phone, or they'll do it all over the internet. And unfortunately, that's what ends up happening. Some of the jobs that are out there besides envelope stuffers, warehouse workers, or mystery shoppers is another big one. Dog walkers, nannies. You might have heard of them. And what they'll do is they kind of combine these scams together. They'll send you a check, which stolen goods, or they'll tell you to go into Walmart with the check that they're going to send you. And this is for your work of checking out the Walmart. And then they want you to wire some of that money. Again, stolen check, now you're wiring money, now you're responsible for that stolen money. Okay, so again, keep in mind that you can be criminally prosecuted. They may list it as a government job. They may say that you're going to make $13 to $36 an hour. Wow, $36 an hour to sit at home and do stuff? I'm going to take that job right there. But again, some of these things are clues and red flags that we need to look at before we accept a job from somebody. Again, you're just assisting the criminal enterprise. Again, watch for the spellings. There'll be some serious misspellings in the correspondences with you. Microsoft scam. Now, how does this happen? Because people may receive something in their email, or they click on a pop-up ad, okay? All of a sudden, what happens is your computer gets something similar to this, and your computer gets locked. You can't get around it unless you call this phone number. Now, from what we know at this point in the presentation, are we going to call this phone number? No, because that phone number belongs to who? A scammer, right? It is not tech support. It is not Microsoft support. So do not call that phone number. My advice on something like this is to immediately shut down your computer and take it to a computer repair professional so that they can clean your computer to make sure that you don't have any viruses or somebody hacked into your computer because you clicked on a link. So what does a link look like? Well, we'll take a look at one in just a moment, but it might say, hey, look at my pictures, and then a little link that it's blue and it's underlined. Okay, and you might click on it and then it takes you to another page. Well, it's taking you to a scammer page because you've been hacked. Okay, so be real careful. It's not only happening on emails, but it's also happening on text messages. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. Phone number, don't call it. Remember, shut down your computer. They may even call you on the phone and say, are you having problems with your computer? Is your computer slow? And a lot of us are going, well, yeah, it's not as fast as it should be. And I say that about my county computer all the time. But what they want to do is they want you to sit on the phone, and they're going to tell you to do a few things online, and then what they're doing is they're dialing into your computer. And what do we keep on our computers? Our most valuable information. It might be pictures, it might be financial information or whatnot. Once we allow that to happen, they now have access to everything in our accounts. So keep in mind, we want to make sure that we shut it down and get it to a repair professional. Over 175,000 complaints with this particular scam. And again, here we're talking billions of dollars being sent out to foreign countries. Where do we see most of these scams occurring? They're occurring in Nigeria. We do have some coming out of Canada. Very rarely do we see it in the United States unless it's landing somewhere first and then it makes its way out. Computer viruses, be careful. We talked about that, clicking on specific links. But what I want you also to know is that fraud can happen on your phone. Now, a lot of us think, well, our phones are safe, right? We have these apps. We have the iPhone security. We have Android. We have two different types of phone operating systems. I went to a class one time, and what they said is, hey, what I want you to do is we want you to download, and this was for the Android, we want you to download the flashlight, just the flashlight. So what the instructor showed us is that once you download the flashlight, it comes up and it has a where you click that you agree to the privacy policy. In that, it stated that they wanted access to your contacts, your photos, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it's a flashlight. What does my flashlight need to access my photos or my contact list? It doesn't. So please read those security labels when they come up. But most of the time we just skip through and we go, oh, yeah, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe. And then all of a sudden we go, wait, what happened? I had a lady who was doing her banking through her phone. She had the app from the bank, so she thought. But what ends up happening is her account got compromised once, and she couldn't figure out why, because she did all her banking online on the phone. And so then it happened a second time. And she goes, that's weird. After she closed the first account, she reopened it. It happened a second time. Once it happened the third time, they started to question, which app are you using on your phone? She downloaded a hacker's app for her bank. So again, please be careful. Read those privacy policies because it can happen on your smartphone. Rental scams. We've seen this quite a bit as well. People who are looking for homes for rent or vacations. With this one, what happens is they will steal a photo from a house that might be for sale, or they may drive by and take a picture of your house and they'll post it and act as the person who manages your home or the previous owner of the home who's trying to sell it, etc. Also, you'll see ads for homes, and I will tell you that I don't know in the city of Thousand Oaks where I could get a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, 2,000 to 3,000 square foot for $900 a month. Because if you do have one, I'm moving in. All right? They don't exist, okay? They don't exist. So we got to be leery. Remember, it's that saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Yes, in this case, it probably is. But one of my cases, I had a lady who had planned a vacation up in Big Bear. And she was corresponding with somebody via email, and they agreed on a price for that vacation that she was going to, or the time that she was going to be up there. She paid the money through wire in this case, and she went up to Big Bear, all ready for her vacation, goes to the house and knocks on the door, and somebody opens the door and says, "My house isn't for rent." Stolen picture. And unfortunately, the lady was out $1,500. She lost it. So be real leery. You really have to do your checks and balances. Here's the lottery scam. Now, lottery scam we're still seeing as well. Lottery scam is one of those ones where they say you need to pay the taxes. And you won $2.8 million, but we can't give it to you until you pay the taxes first. And unfortunately, people will pay the taxes. Listen, if Uncle Sam wants to get the money from you, he's going to. Okay, it might be at the end of the year, but you get one of those forms, right? The 1099 form that says, hey, you owe some money to us. So here's the lottery scam. Let's take a look at this real quick.
I'm excited to tell you some amazing lottery news. You're the big winner of $5 million. You just send the release funds of $300 to this address, and then the lottery office sends $5 million to your account.
You wouldn't fall for it here, so don't fall for it here. Think before you send money.
Remember, think before you send money. The lottery scam, again, is still ongoing, so we need to be careful. My theory is this. If you don't play it, you're not going to win it. A lot of people say, well, I received a letter that says I won the Nigerian lottery. And I go, well, when was the last time you were in Nigeria? Never? Well, then you didn't win. They're like, what? Is that possible? So you got to be real careful because these exist out there and people will fall for it. You'll notice in those Nigerian lottery things that they're asking you to allow them to send money to your account. There might be some spelling errors in the letter that they send you. So we got to be real careful with those. Remember, like I said, you don't have to pay a fee to get money. You don't have to pay money to get money. Don't give them your checking account number or credit card numbers. It's not necessary. They can send you a check via mail the old school way. Okay, they can do that. They might tell you to wire money somewhere. But remember, once that money is sent, the money's gone. You're not getting it back. And you did not win the $2.8 million. I did have a victim out here, several victims, but one specifically where I went to his home because I received a report that he was sending money, lots of money, because he believed that he won. So I thought it would be a good way for me to go out and make contact with him and say, sir, what you're doing is you're giving away your money to a scammer. He didn't believe me. He actually showed me the letter and goes, no, look, here's the letter. It says that I won the lottery and they're actually coming to my house today. They're flying into Burbank and they're coming to my house today and I'm going to get my money today. And the scammer never showed up. And he didn't win the money. But he's out his life savings and had to sell his home because he gave away everything. So that's my point today, again, is to save your money. Keep it in your pocket where it belongs. Foreign lotteries, it's illegal to play a foreign lottery, so keep that in mind. Here's a copy of a letter that you might receive, the International Lottery Commission. I get them at home too. Just because I work in law enforcement doesn't mean, hey, I don't get this junk mail. Okay, I get emails just like you do. I get text messages like you do. So keep in mind, it goes across all boards. It doesn't matter who you are. You're still going to receive these young, old, but with the proper education, you're not going to make the mistake by giving money away. Here's another lottery scam. This kind of hits it at home for some people, so I want you to watch this one.
Congratulations, you are a lottery winner. To collect your prize, please wire your $3,000 processing fee immediately.
Be cautious of financial scams. If you're asked to exchange money for winnings, you are likely the target of a scam. And never wire money.
What I like about that commercial is you'll see that he's sitting in his chair enjoying life, retirement, and he's watching TV, gets the notice underneath the door. Then when it switches scenes, you see that he's losing everything. And that's so true, what we see with these scams. These scammers don't care about us, but I care about you, and that's why I want you to keep your money where it belongs, in your own pockets. Keep in mind, once you've been scammed once, they will continue to scam you. It will be a different scam. It will be a different person, but it will continue to happen. It's like a network of criminals who know who to prey on because they fell for it once. There's a possibility they will fall for it again. And I don't want you to fall for it at all. The in-person lottery scam, we've seen this one happen in Camarillo twice. What happens is you'll be approached in the parking lot by somebody that says that they're illegal and they cannot cash a winning lottery ticket. So they ask for some money up front from you to show good faith. So two ladies in Camarillo gave $10,000 to these scammers. As a matter of fact, they even went with them to their homes. Big problem, because not only did they give away $10,000, but now they know where they live. So we got to be real careful. If somebody won the lottery, congratulate them, but do not give money for their winning lottery ticket. It doesn't work like that. Okay, it doesn't work like that. The car repair scam. We saw this. I had a couple cases reference this one. They normally will target our older generation. Okay, what they'll do is they may pull up beside you and say, "Hey, there's smoke coming from your car, or your tire looks low. Pull over. Let me fix it for you, or let me help you out." And what ends up happening is they go around and they'll kick the tire and make it sound like they're actually fixing your car, and then they will ask for money. They didn't fix anything. There was nothing wrong with your car to begin with. Two problems with that. Number one, you're stopping and this person could steal your car or hurt you. And the second one is it's taking your money. What happened in this particular incident, this lady was approached. She went into the DMV and reported it to the employees there, and the subject was arrested in the parking lot. So again, make sure you're very cautious and you report it so that we can catch these people. Nothing makes me more satisfied than catching these people and stopping them from taking your money. Prize offers. With prize offers, we see these. There was something going around on social media, referenced Disneyland, right? Get a free ticket to Disneyland. Ladies and gentlemen, Disneyland gives nothing away for free. As a matter of fact, I was just there. It cost me an arm and two legs to get into that place. I almost had to refinance my house just to get in there and pay for food. So when it sounds too good to be true like that, it is. It is. And so people actually believe that they're going to get something for free. Nothing in life is for free, which brings me to my next point. All the materials that I brought today is free. So don't let people tell you that nothing in life is free in that incident. You can take whatever you want. But with these prize offers and stuff like the Disneyland, or better yet, when you go to the mall and you see this beautiful shiny car sitting in there, and you go, "I'm going to win that car." So you fill out a bunch of those entry forms. I mean, I'm guilty of it, right? I filled out 50 of them thinking I'm going to get picked, right? But what I did is I just gave everybody my information, because what's on those slips? My name, my address, and how much income I make. What do these scammers need? Woo, they got what they need. They know how much money I got. Now they know where I live, because those lists are ultimately sold to other people. So keep in mind, we got to be real careful with those. Prize offers can also be a pop-up on your computer while you're online. You know, hey, click here for a free iPad. Click here for a free gift card. You click on those, you're damaging your computer, because now you have given somebody else access. So be careful. Charity scam. Let's talk about this one real quick. Let's watch the video.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. This is Sue from Disaster Relief. We're calling neighbors statewide to get help for storm victims. Children, lost parents, homes. You can. Oh, thank you. But could you send the money now? The need is urgent. We so appreciate you. It means so much, but it has to be now. It has to be cash. No credit cards, checks, just cash.
We feel bad. We are human, so we feel bad when a major incident occurs. The Boston Marathon, earthquakes, tsunamis, you name it. We want to give. We want to help out. And the problem is that these scammers know that. So what they do is they come up with a fake charity, or they'll call you on the phone and say, hey, can you please send us some money? And people will do it because the kind hearts that they have. But what I'm going to tell you is that you need to research these charities. Go to the Better Business Bureau. They got a website called give.org. There's other websites that are out there where you can actually type in the charity name and make sure that they exist. The reason why I want you to do that is because I want your money to go to benefit the people that need it, not to benefit a scammer who's taking advantage of you. So please, make sure you check that the charity is real before you contribute or give any types of monies. If you want to give money to me and my charity, I'll be more than happy to take it from you today. Like I said, I asked for your credit card numbers, but you guys laughed about it. Edison scam hit us big time out here. Edison does not send you or call you over the phone and say, pay your bill with a gift card. They do not do that. Okay? What happens with this is that they threaten to shut off people's power. So what happens? The automatic onset of panic. I don't want my lights shut off. Okay, but if Edison's going to shut off your power, don't they send you that letter? It's bright red or it's red. It says, hey, if you don't do something, we're going to shut it off. It's going to cost you to reconnect. So they will send you that. They're not just going to call you on the phone and say, hey, just go down and get a prepaid gift card and we'll just take care of this right now. Because that's what they're doing, and we've had a lot of people fall for this one. So again, Edison scam, listen for it. Prepaid gift cards or wire money, do not do. What we can do, though, to verify whether we owe money to Edison is call them directly. We get a bill in the mail, right? Or we can look up the phone number via the, well, we don't have phone books much anymore, right? We have the internet, so we can research the phone number for Edison and look up the phone number and call them directly. Do not call the number that they give you to call back again. Red light scam. We were having these too. What was ended up happening is people would get a phone call stating that they ran a red light. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys know a little secret. There are no red lights cameras in the city of Thousand Oaks. I know, don't be shocked, but that doesn't mean to go run a red light and say, Detective Lohman told me that there were no red light cameras out here. Okay, that's not what I'm telling you to do. But we do have red light cameras in Ventura County, Oxnard, and Ventura. So if you do run a red light by accident, of course, by all means by accident, you're going to receive that beautiful picture in the mail of you running through the intersection with that shocked look on your face or the cell phone in one hand and the other hand on the steering wheel because you didn't see that the light turned red. So you will receive something in the mail, not a phone call to tell you to pay it with a prepaid gift card or wire money. If you're still unsure, call the courthouse directly. The courthouse is right down there in Ventura. Call them to verify whether you have a ticket for a red light camera. Fake contractors, false work. keep in mind that they are still out there. If we have a contractor coming to our home, we go to the State Contractors Board and verify whether they are legit. Do not just pay somebody that comes to your house and says, by the way, we're checking houses in the neighborhood, and we notice some of your neighbors' houses are leaking, and with a couple $1,000s, we're going to come back and we're going to fix yours when we fix your neighbors. You give him the couple $1,000 and he's not coming back. Here's my theory on that, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not pay these contractors ahead of time. Do not pay them ahead of time. You come out and do the work. If I'm satisfied with the work, I'm going to pay you. Okay. Second portion of that is to verify whether they are legit contractors. Those websites are out there. You can verify. Travel scams. These are out there as well. Hey, if we could all go to Cancun for 6 days and 5 nights for $299, I bet you all jump with me and we're going to go together. Okay. But that is not true. $299. Hey, we can't even get airfare for $299 to go to Cancun. So look for those travel scams. Verify. If you have AAA, use AAA. Go through them. If you use Costco, go to Costco and do your travel. Do not just have some guy call you on the phone or send you a text message or an email, and then you go, wow, that sounds like a great price. I think I'm going to just do this for $299. I want you to do your verification or go through a reputable travel company. Email compromise. Big, big, big. I had somebody out here lose $212,000. Sad situation, $212,000, his life savings. He was purchasing a home. And during the purchase of this home, he was corresponding with a real estate agency. The home was out of state. He was corresponding with this real estate agency, and somewhere during the correspondence, the real estate agency's email address or email account was compromised. So now the scammer is using an email address, and he's communicating with the person who's trying to buy the home. The person trying to buy the home received wiring instructions so the house can close. So he goes ahead and sends the money to the bank and the routing number that the scammer provided. He calls after the Veterans Day holiday to say, okay, is my house ready to close? And they say, well, we never received the wire. He goes, well, I sent it to this bank. And he goes, the real estate agent firm goes, we don't bank with that bank. He started to go through his emails and realized that somewhere during the email conversations, the email address changed. So be real cautious when you receive emails from people. Really check them. So here's an example, like the domain. Domain names are like chase.com, bankofamerica.com, ventura.org for our agency, etc. Domain names. What happens is they may change that domain name by one letter. Look at example.com right there. They exchanged the L and they put in a 1. Would you have noticed that? Maybe, maybe not. Because we're not paying attention to the email address, we're paying attention to the content of the email, right? Now, I'm going to tell you, not only are we looking at links not to click on links, but to check the email address that you're receiving email from. And when you're in doubt, especially when you're wiring money, this would have been one of the times where I would have probably called the real estate agency and said, okay, I just want to confirm that you want me to wire the money to this location. There's nothing wrong with that. The real estate agent may go, hey, we already sent you an email, okay? But your job is to protect yourself and protect your money. So I don't care how much research or how many questions you have to ask. I would rather you ask questions than send the money and say, hey, Detective Lohman, how do I get my money back? What's nice about this case is because it was such a large amount, the FBI has decided to jump on board and take this case. And I'm going to tell you how to file a complaint with the FBI during this presentation as we near the end of it, and how easy it is. Because the FBI collects data, and with that data, they're able to close cases, especially the IRS one where 600 people were arrested. They compile all that data together. So here's an example of somebody actually brought this into me and said, hey, Detective Lohman, I received this email. It says it's from Chase Bank. I goes, from Chase Bank? He goes, yeah. Well, look at the domain name. Right where the red cursor is, the red cursor, it says Outlook.com. Does it say Chase.com? No. What happens is had somebody clicked, remember we said about clicking on links? Right where it says unlock user ID at the bottom. Okay? What happens when you click on that link? They're asking for your username, and your password. You think that, hey, I'm going to unlock my account because it's my password's been used too many times. But what ends up happening is you click on that link, they ask you for your username and password. You have now given the golden ticket to a scammer because they will clean your account out. So please be cautious. Check those email addresses because this is a perfect example of one that was not from Chase Bank. You may see that logo that looks like a safe with the steering wheel on it. That is a logo that Chase uses. So what did they do? They cut and pasted it from the website and made this correspondence. It looks legit, right? It says privacy at the bottom. There's my privacy policy, but it is not. Do not send anything. Do not click on the link. Call Chase directly. Here's another one. I want you to take a look at this because this is a big one. Text messaging. They call it smishing. Okay, another word for phishing, smishing, because it's SMS messaging. It's a text message in other terms. But somebody actually received this, and they actually came into the police station. They did not click on the link. They came in and said, hey, Detective Lohman, I got this text message. I don't know why Bank of America would be getting a hold of me by text message. I go, well, you didn't click on it, right? They go, no, we didn't. I go, let's take a look at this real quickly. What do you see in the Bank of America at the top? What's wrong with it? It has a big O. That big O is a 0. So they took out the O from Bank of America and they put in a 0. Not Bank of America sending that message. And again, you click on the link, and what's going to happen is they're going to ask for your username and password, and now you've given them access to your account. So watch, not only do they come in email, but they come in text message as well. So we talked about the research portion of this, right? We talked about the phone number that you heard in the IRS voicemail. What I want you to do is I want you to take that phone number and I want you to plug it in. Stuff like Google. Here's what you do. You take the phone number and you put it in the search engine right at the top. So the phone number that you heard, I actually took and I put it in the search engine right there. And then what I did is I hit enter. Once I hit enter, I started to get stuff like this one. It says recorded message saying that I owed money to the IRS. A recorded message saying the IRS is suing me. And it goes on and on and on. There were so many of these because people reported that phone number as a scam phone number. Now, this didn't cost you anything because it's free to research it. It didn't cost you any life savings because you didn't send money because you did your research first. Again, research before you send. So, remember, these scams stop with you, as we stated before. How do they stop with you? Because I want you, before you do anything at all, before you send money, go get a gift card, I want you to ask a friend. If you don't have any friends that are close by that you can't talk to, call law enforcement. I'm your friend. I'm your friend from here on out, okay? So I want you to call me, all right? I'm going to give you my contact information before you send any money. Call me first. Do your research. Look up the company. But do not, again, I can't repeat this enough, do not call the number that they leave for you. Do your research. Type the company name in or the phone number into the search engine like I just showed you. Check with the Federal Trade Commission. Great website, by the way. All the materials that are in the back of the room that I told you that are free, they come from the Federal Trade Commission. They talk about several of the scams that we have talked about today. And you can see that it goes into detail on some of these scams and how they take your money. Love the website, and I recommend anybody that might receive a call or believe it might be a scam to check there. Again, don't be too quick to send money to anyone, especially your personal information, giving your accounts. Document and report it to law enforcement. And IC3, right where it says IC3, that is the FBI's website. So let's take a look. This is what the website looks like. You'll see a spot right there next to home where it says file a complaint in yellow. So if you have fallen victim or you're receiving continuous calls from the IRS or people claiming they're the IRS, I want you to file a complaint on this website right here. Because the FBI will compile the data and hopefully we can shut some more of these people down from taking your money. Again, let's keep it in your pocket, in your bank accounts. So here we go. How many times do you have to be reminded if it sounds too good to be true? It probably is. That is a true statement Remember, certain things like iPhones or trips or like Disneyland, as I gave an example of. If it's too good, if an iPhone is selling for $7.99 and they tell you it's for sale for $1.99, you might want to question that because it could be stolen or it could be a fake. So do make sure you remember that if it's too good to be true, it probably is. If you have any questions, here is a couple things that I want the community to know. Number one, the fraud hotline was just started about a week ago. The reason being is because I wanted to make sure that people were informed of some of the scams that are going on and what they're asking you to do. So it will be updated shortly. I have to make some changes to it. Then we will have links to the city and the county sheriff, the Ventura County Sheriff's website, so that you can not only hear a recorded message, but then you can go and check our websites to see what kind of scams are going on. If you have any questions and you need to reach me, there's my email address and my desk phone number. Please call me anytime. Leave me a message. I will get back to you. If you prefer to email me at that email address. And with that, that's our scam presentation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Healy?
That was really a wonderful presentation. I was fascinated the whole time. If any of these things happen where a bank is involved and they accept a check that's forged or something like that, are they responsible in any way for reimbursing the victim of the money?
So in incidents where you receive a check from somebody and you deposit that check into your account, you are accepting full responsibility for that check.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if somebody if somebody wrote a forged check, then somehow they got something that looked like my checks or something and they sent it, would the bank have responsibility?
The bank would then accept responsibility. Correct. Okay. So there's two different circumstances. One, if you receive a check from somebody who you don't know and you deposit it, you accept responsibility. If your account gets compromised by a scammer because they've gotten your account number, or like I said, they go and reproduce your account number, the bank will then accept responsibility. But again, it's a timely issue. You need to report it immediately.
Thank you.
And then also not only, and here's the thing a lot of people don't understand is, not only do you need to report it to the bank, but you should report it to law enforcement, because nothing makes me more satisfied than to arrest somebody who's taking advantage of you or trying to get into your account. And I would rather make an arrest and put them where they belong for taking advantage of you.
Thank you. That was a really great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from Nick? Yes, Harry?
I have a question concerning paper checks. Every time you write a paper check, it has your routing number and your account number on it, and you send it in, and you don't know who's going to see it and who's going to use it and for what purpose.
Well, my whole thing is I hope they get rid of paper checks altogether. I'll be honest with you. But we know that some people prefer to write checks. So here's my advice on that. Mail theft is at an all-time high right now. Why? Because, again, as I told you, all I need is your routing number and your account number, and I have it. And a lot of people will still send people will still send checks in their mail. So they put it in their mailbox, and they wait for the postman to come and get it. But in the interim, a suspect may come and take your checks, and then they go and negotiate your checks or change the amounts on them. So here's my thing. With checks, if you're not at the the tech age where you want to do it online and make all your payments there, then what I would suggest is that if you're going to write a check out, that you take it inside the post office. Do not put it in the blue bins, because we are seeing thefts at the blue bins as well. What they do is they will fish your mail out of there. If you're going to send something and you forget and you accidentally put it in your mailbox, or you accidentally put it in a blue bin, do not do it on a Saturday night when there's no mail pickup until Monday afternoon, because now the suspects or the scammers have all that weekend to go and take your mail and then negotiate your checks on a Monday morning. Okay, so again, to answer your question, if you have to write a check, take it straight into the post office. Don't drop it in the blue bin, and don't leave it in your mailbox for an extended period of time. Because once you put up that red flag, these criminals will drive down the street and go, "Oh, that's for me," and then they'll go and take your mail. So please be cautious when you put stuff in the mail. That goes with packages too. because of the holidays. If you're going to have a package sent to your home, make sure somebody's there to accept it. And it doesn't sit on your porch for a long period of time. You can set up alerts so they can alert you. If you're not going to be home, pick it up at the local UPS or Federal Express office.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering if you had any scams with these robocalls. The phone number that comes up on your caller ID is a completely false number. I mean, what good is it for us to keep track of that number?
Yeah, unfortunately, with the way the internet and technology is advanced, it's hard to keep track because a scammer can have a different phone number every single day. It's very easy to go on to Google Voice or have an app on a phone, and they can change their phone numbers all the time. What happens is, and a colleague of mine who works in the city of Moore Park has showed me a way where we can shut these phone numbers down. So what we have is we have a generic letter that we send to the companies that have that phone number, and we get them shut down immediately once we find out they're scammer numbers. Okay. As far as robocalls, it could be anything from somebody saying, hey, we can lower your interest rate on your credit card, and it may be a scam. How do we stop these? Well, we thought that do not call website would stop these calls, but unfortunately, because of technology being what it is, we can change the phone number all the time. As a matter of fact, there's a way that I can call somebody in this room with your phone number, and they'll believe it's you calling when it's actually me calling. And that's the sad reality of it is because it makes it harder for investigations and us to track down these suspects.
I assume that at this time of year that charity scams are particularly active, and I think we may all be sort of leery of when we're giving to a charity we've never given to before or somebody we've just heard about and so forth. But a lot of us will give to something year after year. We may say, well, we trust the Red Cross. We've been donating to them, every December and so forth for years, so that's safe, right? Well, we know, I think from your talk today and so forth, we can see ways that the scammers may intercept our money on the way to the Red Cross. Are there any those really active in this area at this time of year?
You mean as far as charity scams? People taking your money?
Somebody is setting up a false Red Cross website or sending mailers in the mail that claiming they're collecting for the Red Cross and send it to this address and it's not the right one?
Well, I would tell you nothing surprises me in this day and age, especially in the position that I'm in. Mm-hmm. So if you have been donating to the Red Cross, it's a trusted charity, okay, and you've been sending it to the same address, but then all of a sudden you get a email message or a text message that says, hey, by the way, donate to this address, it's still the Red Cross, I would question it. Mm-hmm. Call the Red Cross directly. Hey, did you guys change your address where I normally send my checks? When we're talking about charity scams, we're talking about ones that will pop up overnight. Mm-hmm. For example, if we had a major earthquake out here and then all of a sudden somebody comes up with the Thousand Oaks Relief Fund, and it could be a scammer running that, and it's not a legit one. So this is where the verification and doing your research really comes true, is that especially with the Red Cross, if something changes and they're telling you to send your check elsewhere, I would question it and make a phone call.
Well, I doubt that many of us really remember where we sent the check last December, so I don't know that if we're responding to a piece of mail we got or an email or a website or something like that,
right,
we might not notice a change from a year ago.
Right, and with that portion of what you're referring to, then that's where the research is going to come in in handy, where you're actually calling the Red Cross directly. You can research their phone number online, call them up, and say, hey, just want to verify that this is where I send the check this year.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Ron?
It sounds like the safest thing to do is just hang up if you don't recognize the phone number. And if somebody says, is this Mr. Hagee or is this Ronald, I know it. Nobody calls me that, so I just hang up. Is that a safe thing to do? Or, even hanging up, I'm afraid to even answer my phone now,
Well, here's the way I do it. If I don't recognize the phone number, I don't answer the call. Okay, especially if somebody's calling me from Florida. I don't know anybody in Florida unless I won a trip there somewhere that I applied for. I don't know it. So I don't answer those calls. If somebody really wants to talk to me bad enough, they will leave me a message and I will call them back. And then at that point, I can filter whether it's a scam or not. If they call and leave a message saying, hey, we could lower your interest rate, I'm not interested. Okay, so when those calls come in, there's nothing wrong with you hanging up. There's nothing wrong with you saying no thanks, or there's nothing wrong with you not answering the phone at all. So those options are available to you. Nobody's going to arrest you for not answering your phone, I promise you. Not even me.
All right. Okay. Yes. With that, our meeting comes to a close today. So, and would the audience please remain here for... 1 second.
Oh.